Once again, no difficulty for Geaney. He's got 6 for the day so far.
Yeah, a couple of minutes now since May.
This time it's kicked away out of danger. Fionn Fitzgerald manages to get it forward. Back there to forage as Jack Savage, just on. 2 goals the margin. Into James O'Donoghue. Taking on Chris Barrett. Well, if they can't get goals immediately, a couple of points would do. Kieran Donaghy trying to work it in. He's worked it into Stephen O'Brien, having a go. Little block on it, has another go. Again, great goalkeeping. And finally, as Paul Geaney denied once more. Down he goes. Referee goes in calmly and decides it's a free out. But Geaney lay on the ball, didn't attempt to play it, and a free against him.
Yeah, and all these big calls are going for Mayo today. Stephen O'Brien did excellently well, created the opportunity. Great chance for a goal, blocked, and great determination from this Mayo team, but got caught then Paul Geaney for overcarrying.
Well, that sums up that Mayo team ethic today. It has been first class. Up to Conor Loftus, who set up the goal for Andy Moran with that lob in. This time providing another pass. Moran goes again. Where he goes, Paul Murphy goes after him. But the damage has been done at this stage. And as you can see, it's 2-9 to 9 points, with 11 minutes gone in the second half. Back to Paddy Durkin. Mayo now again trying to control the tempo of the game, play it on their terms. Shamie O'Shea, frustrating for Jack Savage, trying to win possession back. Durkin, back out here to Cillian O'Connor. He's got 6 points so far in the match. Same tally as Paul Geaney of Kerry. Keith Higgins, booted over the bar. Jason Doherty once again.
Yeah.
Always steps up for a score in a major championship match.
Yeah, it was 10 minutes since Mayo scored, but they're showing great composure today, great patience, and Keith Higgins created that opportunity.
Well, this is as good a chance as Mayo have got right now of beating Kerry in the championship for the first time in 21 years. Jonathan Lyne taking on Kevin McLaughlin. Because Loftus was caught. Stephen O'Brien goes away, and across to challenge him there came, and foul him, came Cillian O'Connor.
Cillian O'Connor looked like he knew what he was doing in that instance.
And he's got a black card.
Yeah, Stephen O'Brien was running at him at speed, and he brought him down, and the referee's correct on that occasion.
Again, the referee being very consistent in his calls here. 60th would be the All-Ireland final in 3 weeks' time. Right now, it's not looking likely, with 20 minutes to go, but then you never know. This is Kerry. That's Jack Barry, and that's Jack Barry getting one back from the pass there by Tom O'Sullivan.
They've done it previously. They need to go play ball, get scores on the board.
Think about the Kerry full back line. They have seen Enright taken off, Killian Young taken off, Mark Griffin, who didn't start today, was taken off last week. And they must be hoping, Kerry followers, I'm sure, wherever they're watching this at home in Ireland or across the world, that the minor teams they've had in recent times will unearth some brilliant young defenders. We've got Conor O'Shea coming on. Remember the goal he got in last year's semi-final? Here's Loftus, and Loftus fists it over the bar. Another one for Mayo, another one for Conor Loftus. 2-11 to 10 points.
Yeah, that Kerry defence are 6-7s right now. He found himself in acres of space, and Paul Murphy can't be everywhere, and Conor Loftus, very wise, took the score.
Bounces here in front of Jack Savage, able to carry it on here. I think he would have been expecting to start following his performance last Sunday. Didn't happen. Likewise, James O'Donoghue, but I think he's had an injury for some time. Stephen O'Brien needs to put this one over the bar or get somebody to help him to do so. They need scores. That'll do. That's Fionn Fitzgerald.
Good
2-goal margin again.
Yeah, and Stephen O'Brien doing well. Fionn Fitzgerald pushing up, and that's what they need to do right now. They need to abandon the sweeper system, get Paul Murphy up the pitch.
7th point of the match. It's a little bit more manageable. 2-11 to 12 points.
And it's full court press at the minute. You can see Paul Murphy is right up the pitch. Everybody in this instance is pushing on David Clark to put pressure on his kick out.
Clark goes long, but towards David Moran, who catches it well, makes the mark, plays on.
They're going for it again.
Towards Donaghy. Broken down well. It was Harrison who took it for Mayo, and they can work it back out through Lee Keegan once again. Just two men for Mayo in the inside the 45-metre line of Kerry, so they're going to hold this one a little bit. Jason Doherty back here to Tom Parsons. Possessions now is so vitally important, not to just give the ball away in hope. Andy Moran, he's been winning his battle there with every cornerback who's marked him. It's Sean Fitzgerald at this stage, and the referee's got to bring the ball back out, and Andy will in no particular hurry to bring it out there onto that 13-metre line, and it'll be yet another free kick.
And it's interesting now with no Killian O'Connor on the pitch, and all these frees are very important to keep that scoreboard ticking over.
Well, they've also got Jason Doherty, who's a very, very assured free taker normally, in the absence of Jack Barry. Meanwhile, Jason Doherty hitting round the corner, and more importantly over the bar as well. Second point for him, first from a free. Free taking will not be a difficulty, I think.
His confidence has grown immeasurably from last week, and I think he's a much better player now, playing excellently.
Well, they all are. Most amazing championship campaign for Mayo. We've seen other counties in the past go 9.
Higgins here very much knew what he was doing, giving the free away, stopping any danger of a goal.
And the referee had a quiet word with Keith Higgins, didn't show him a card. James O'Donoghue knocks it over. He's got a second point. It's 13 points now for Kerry, but they are still some 5 points behind. And Liam Hassett now, as you can see, banished to the stand here. So Eamon Fitzmaurice has... look at the number of backs surrounding him here. Trying to go through a maze and find your way out the other end. O'Donoghue takes on the responsibility off the posts and over the bar. 3 for O'Donoghue.
Yeah,
it's another one.
Yeah, he's been extremely lively since he's come in. A brilliant forward that can score at ease.
12 to 14 points means that it's a 4-point game.
And plenty of time on the clock as well.
Seamie O'Shea's going off, and it's going to be Stephen Cohen who comes on. Manager quite correctly now, I would imagine, using some of his bench players to bring a bit of freshness to midfield in particular. All the hard work that Seamie O'Shea from Brafey had been doing.
Yeah, and his full court press, as we've seen. David Clark is...
Tom Parsons turning back inside towards Colin Boyle. Looks like he's going to make the 70 minutes this time. He's got an advantage, he's got possession, he can seal it. Little block on it there as across came Tadhg Morley, and it's gone for a 45. There had been an advantage, the referee allowed it on.
Yeah, there was an advantage. He could have been wider to take the free at this stage, but he drove on. Even a point is crucial, but that's Colin Boyle.
And a red card. Peter Crowley, who was yellow carded earlier on, now gets a red.
He was a bit
it's the second yellow, so they're down to 14.
Yeah, and everything's going wrong for Kerry today. It's just not been their day. Big loss as well, Peter Crowley. He's one of their main players.
Well, he really is one of their main players. There's no doubt about that. A fearless competitor, and his 7th ever All-Ireland semi-final match ends in bitter disappointment. Down by 12 to 14 points, and with Jason Doherty now stepping up to hit this 45. Very little breeze around today. It's a very calm evening. Cotton wool, clouds overhead, plenty of blue skies as well, sunshine, and Mayo enjoying themselves, and they'll enjoy it even more when the white flag goes up again for that 45, successfully converted by Jason Doherty and Stephen Rochford, who won an All-Ireland club final here a couple of years ago as coach and manager of Corofin in Galway. His native Mayo. He can get a few scores, you never know. He's got pace, he's got in, he's had a go, and he's just missed it. So dangerous.
Oh, there's danger signs all over the place there. Well done by Barry John Keane. It could have dropped into the net, just slid by.
Stephen Cohen laying it off. Kicked in here by Kevin McLaughlin. Deadly finish again from McLaughlin, a point in each half. There's no stopping Mayo today.
Yeah, great play again by Andy Moran. Got the ball in possession, knew the right decision. Kevin McLaughlin, and a nice finish off his left foot.
They may have had blind spots about Kerry teams in the past, but this Mayo side has matured brilliantly over this championship. Remember last year, they were within a point of Dublin after the replay here for Kerry's James O'Donoghue. Can he make some inroads? Difficult against Keith Higgins. Such a sticky... And Higgins got a little block on it. And out comes Colin Boyle to take it. And down goes Boyle under the weight of the challenge from James O'Donoghue. And it's a free out.
Brilliant play by Keith Higgins. He knew James O'Donoghue wanted to get back on his left. He knew that all along. Got the block in, and a great interception by Colin Boyle.
Well, you'll have to start thinking about your man of the match very, very shortly, Desi. Here comes Loftus once again. Oh, lovely fluency, great direction. He's kicked the second. Manu got that all-important goal against Derry towards the very end of the 70 minutes in Castlebar in the qualifier. That kept their championship alive at a stage when Derry looked as though they were going to lower Mayo's colours. Good catch in the middle of the park by Anthony Marr, but it's only delaying the inevitable, it would appear. 2:15 to 14 points. It's looking like quite a victory for Mayo. Barry John Keane trying to carry it on past Chris Barrett. And he's got to be brought back onto the 20-metre line for the resultant free kick.
Yeah, great play there. You've seen it all came from the Keith Higgins block. Quick transition, but Mayo players are growing in confidence. Since they've come to Croke Park, they've been a new team. Since the replay against Roscommon.
Two of them were from open play. The rest from frees. You can make it 8. Just about raises a cheer here from the Kerry followers. 2 goals the margin. Another change coming up, and into the fray comes Danny Kirby. Big, tall man, 6'5" tall. Kirby on. Up against Anthony Marr. 2 6'5" men. Short kick out's been taken. Keith Higgins knocking it forward. Taking it under pressure, Stephen Cohen advancing with some purpose. Players in support right and left of him. Conor O'Shea, one of them. Third of the O'Shea brothers. Their dad, Jim, watching on. And he's a proud Kerry man, but supporting Mayo here, watching his side as Lee Keegan kicks it in, and that ball has gone wide. Fans are feeling good about their team, so when the 5 minutes went up, they didn't seem to care. Their cheering is even louder. That one's been kicked over, so it's another one for the free taker, and he's got 9 points today, Paul Gainey. Oof.
Yeah, this kind of stuff will suit the Mayo players. They're ahead, they want to slow it down, waste the clock.
More wrestling.
Silly stuff.
Stephen Cohen against Anthony Maher. Should be on the undercard tonight. And the referee's just got to bring them across at the end of all of that. More note-taking. More cards, I imagine, at the end of it. Feeds into the frustration that Kerry must be experiencing. Yellow card for Cohen, yellow card for Anthony Marr.
Yeah, you can see
4
the
minutes
advantage there with Patrick Durkin. The extra man all the time is very useful.
Durkin again, moving forward. Always a menacing figure. Back into Tom Parsons. Sudden injection of pace by Tom, decides to recycle a little bit. Kirby's involved. Looking for a man in the clear. It's Durkin. It's another one.
Third time lucky, Ger. Great scorer, and I think he's been a very influential player for Mayo off the bench.
That's 16 points he's got, Paddy Durkin, and half of them have been scored at Croke Park. That's not a bad record.
Take that myself, Ger.
Paul Murphy threaded forward here, intended for Fionn Fitzgerald, and Andy Moran back there bringing him down. James O'Donoghue kicking. Donaghy at the receiving end, trying to step away from trouble in the shape of Aidan O'Shea. It hasn't been the big talking point that it was last Sunday. It ends up being a free kick, which his team will have.
I think, Gerard, a lot of work has went into Aidan O'Shea during the week. They realised that tackling was very important and support, and every time Kieran Donaghy's got an opportunity, Mayo had plenty of numbers back looking for breaks.
I think you mentioned earlier on the name Donny Buckley, who of course was also at one stage coaching Kerry. Jack Savage getting the yellow card, and a lot of the Mayo players will credit Donny for the way in which he has essentially tutored them in the whole business of dispossessing the opponent, proper tackling, and it's a red card, so a second yellow card and a red. Out goes Paddy Durkin.
Yeah, and I agreed with that, Gerard. I have to say, in terms of their physicality and their tackling, they're one of the best teams around for getting in your face.
You're man of the match at this stage as Paddy Durkin goes off.
Yeah, he just went off a couple of minutes ago, but I thought he's been excellent throughout, a real leader on the team. But for me, Colin Boyle has been excellent this season, and in particular today, so Colin Boyle is my man of the match.
Well done to Colin Boyle, congratulations. You are the man of the match for the All-Ireland football semi-final replay. As it's another red card. Kieran Donaghy gets one.
Yeah, it's just a frustration with the Kerry players now. They're disappointed with the way the game has turned out, and in the last couple of minutes you got the sense that...
Well, we've seen black cards and red cards, and what a disappointing way for Kieran Donaghy to finish this match. Just watch the reaction here. There's a little blow thrown there. Referee spotted it, and off he goes. It was ill-judged, ill-disciplined.
Yeah, and I just think it's a measure more of Mayo's dominance today. They've been frustrated, Kerry, and wasn't a whole pile in it, but at the same time they're just a very frustrated group of players where things have went.
Last 45 seconds or thereabouts. Aidan O'Shea happily recovered from the blow, and on he goes towards Danny Kirby. In comes Paul Murphy. Paul Murphy still as competitive as ever. Over these two games, he certainly hasn't let the side down, that's much as certain. Jack Savage. Long, down towards Conor O'Shea, and down he goes. Tyke Morley colliding with him. Another stoppage, notebook out again.
Yeah.
Morley called across.
I suppose it did start early, Gerard. There's two teams that know each other so well. The stakes are extremely high, massive prize at stake, and it has been a very physical contest today.
It's going to finish 14 against 14 anyway, and two black cards into the bargain as well. A free kick for Mayo. Aidan O'Shea taking it. The whistle goes, it's all over. Mayo have beaten Kerry for the first time in 21 years. Stephen Rochford and his team have done it. It may have been a match littered with fouls and cards and stoppages, but the end result is that he's taken a few gambles along the way. He's brought Aidan O'Shea, as we know, back to mark Kieran Donaghy last week. But today, he got it absolutely right. The manner in which they approached the game was first class. Let's go down to Joanne.
Keith Higgins, congratulations. You've been involved in some really big Mayo wins down through the years. Where does this one rank?
Yeah, it's what can I say? It's definitely up there, but look, at the end of the day, we've won big semi-finals before, and you know, they're not really worth much good until you get to the final day. So 3 weeks now will be a nice bit of a break, and you know, we'll look forward to it. So delighted with that one.
Well, we know the people who come and follow you, support you no matter what. But the team, the manager in particular, got a lot of criticism and a lot of stick during the week. What impact did that have on the team?
To be honest, the players kind of stay away from it. We let the management deal with that. That's their problem, I suppose, you know. So from a player's point of view, we knew what lessons we had to take from last week, and that's been brutally honest about it. So we stayed away from that, tried to work on what we could do on the pitch, I suppose. Like I said, that's going to have no impact. So we have to try and work on what goes on out there. It's as simple as that.
I know, but it is hard to ignore it all, isn't it? Did it have any sort of effect of bringing the team even more together, even more determined?
I don't know. Like, I mean, if we'd have lost today, people have said it hadn't affected us. People say now it brought us together. But like I said, personally, I didn't take any notice of it. That's Stevens and them, their job. Like I said, I've enough to worry about it there.
Well, you've been involved in games four where they've been tight, where you've opened up a bit of a lead and a team has come back. We saw Kerry try to do that in the second half. What's the difference this year and this time that Mayo were able to come back at them again?
That's hard to put a finger on. I think we were a lot calmer on the ball, I suppose. Kerry come down, get a score, we'd managed to go up and work on ourselves. So I suppose we were a bit more calmer on the ball, got ourselves into the positions, and I suppose kept that lead of probably 5 or 6 points for most of the second half, I suppose.
Well, Keith Higgins, congratulations and best of luck in this final.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Congratulations to Keith Higgins and to his Mayo colleagues through to that All-Ireland final in 3 weeks' time. A brilliant atmosphere here in Croke Park today. It was absolutely fantastic because we all know how good the Mayo supporters are, but the tension, if you like, was being racked up all the time.
Yeah, I suppose because we have seen Mayo so often and losing games against the top teams in similar sort of positions, but this time they were very disciplined, they were a very aggressive team, they were very controlled, they played with that sort of controlled fury which you need here in this game, and you only can admire the likes of Higgins and Boyle and the O'Sheas and Jason Doherty had a great game today, Andy Moore, and there was quite a few others, but I think David Clark also deserves special mention for his kickouts, which were brilliant all through. But Mayo are a great team. They're a bit, I think, like it's like Mousetrap, isn't it? That long-running saga in London. They go on and on, entertain us royally year after year. Hopefully they'll get over the line this year, but this is one of their greatest performances.
Well, you've been agreeing with Colin on that particular point.
Well, nobody could disagree. They've been the most entertaining sports team in this country for a decade, and that's across all sports. And they've given us such fabulous entertainment. And today, I think you can see Tony McEntee's fingerprints all over the game plan, the smoothness of the kicking, the slickness of the kick passing through. Boys taking the kick pass on, excellent runs inside the 21. The runners always coming at the right time. Timing your run's a vital thing. Mayo did that all day long, and at all stages in the second half, I thought they were in total control of the game. I mean, 6 points, 7 points, 6 points, 7 points. Big thing from Mayo's perspective was that they played with absolute conviction today throughout the game, and they really never looked in danger of losing it. So an excellent performance, but now is the time to drive on.
That's another day's work. Let's see what happens in the final. But Pat, disappointed, but I would imagine no complaints.
Well, I'm thinking, when the late Con Hoolan was asked one time after a Kerry defeat, how are things, Con? And he said, house private, no flowers, please. So, look, as a Kerry person, would not begrudge that Mayo victory. 21 years since they last beat them. This was a well-deserved victory. This was a victory by the best team, because from the get-go, they laid down a marker. They went at Kerry. They had faith in their long kick-outs. Lost one kick-out in the entire game. They pushed up on Kerry's kick-outs, forced Kerry on the back foot. But from start to finish, they played on their terms. They ran at Kerry. They asked questions of Kerry. And I think after last Sunday, they showed Kerry too much respect last week. And I think after last Sunday, they realised, hey, yes, we used to fear Kerry teams in the past, but we don't fear this Kerry team, because this isn't a great Kerry team. So Mayo, well-deserved, well-deserved. But like I said, look, and look, history, the winners get the chance to write the history.
Yeah, of course.
But the history will only be written after the All-Ireland final.
That's a fair point. OK, coming up after the break, there is more on today's big match. Also, another...
That's exactly what Mayo needed, because no matter what anybody says, their confidence is a bit fragile. Beautiful pass from Conor Loftus.
Great catch.
And a great catch by Andy Moore. Shane Enright looks like a man going for the wrong bus, and a good interchange with Killian O'Connor. And I suppose that'll be one of the decisions that will haunt Eamon Fitzmaurice. Why did he leave Shane Enright after getting a roasting on Andy Moore in the last day, to get another roasting today? And as well as that, James O'Donoghue, when he came on, showed that he probably should have been on at the start as well.
He had too many problems to deal with today. I mean, Mayo's conviction was exemplified by the fact their free takers sent off on a black card. Jason Doherty takes over, kicks 2 brilliant frees. Whereas Mayo were cohesive, played an excellent plan, and they've been perfecting that over the last 4 or 5 games.
Gentlemen,
Kerry were very, very ad hoc.
let's hear from, from the man of the match from today's game. It's Colin Boyle. He's with Joanne.
Colin, congratulations. First of all, I have to ask you, you hobbled in here. Are you okay?
Yeah, just a bit of a knock, but nothing major. Yeah, good.
Definitely no doubts for the All-Ireland final?
Definitely not. No. Just a small bit of a hurt, but nothing like a couple of days won't sort out.
You were causing mayhem with all your running up the pitch, but there were also times when I think about 10 minutes into the second half there was a triple save from Mayo, which included you and David Clark. How vital a turning point do you think that was in the game?
Yeah, I think there was a couple of occasions where Clark came out and smothered the ball. Like I can't remember how many exactly he did during the game. I remember Stephen O'Brien had a couple of opportunities, and you know it was brilliant. I suppose it gave us a bit of energy at the time. You know, a goal at that stage when we were on top would have been a sucker punch, but thankfully, you know, kept the ball out of the net, and we ended up getting the scores up the other end of the pitch.
From the outside, it looks like there's a different sort of belief within this Mayo squad. Is that the case?
Look, we always believe in ourselves. We've believed in ourselves the last couple of years, and we still do, you know. And you know, that's why we come. That's why we stick at it, you know.
How do you make it different this time in the All Ireland final?
Look, we'll just, I suppose, assess, see who comes out tomorrow, and take it from there. You know, we have an awful lot to improve on, and you know, hopefully we can do that in the space of 3 weeks.
Well, Colin Boyle, congratulations on being the AIB man of the match, and Dennis O'Callaghan is here with your award.
Well done to Colin Boyle, man of the match from today's game. He was gentleman central to one or two incidents in that match that were vital to Mayo. Goal chances for Kerry, Pat?
Well, very simple. Kerry got 3 goal scoring chances during the game, converted none. Mayo got 2 and converted both. We're looking at the 2 in the second half. Reasonable half chance for Paul Geaney, but watch the role that Colin Boyle played in this. It was going into the corner net.
It was.
Colin Boyle got down and blocked it, so it was probably a half a chance, because Geaney was one of the few Kerry players that were playing well. This was probably a better chance, because Kerry probably had... Now, James O'Donoghue, as Joe alluded to, did make a bit of a difference, scoring 4 points when he came on. This was probably
how did this stay out?
This was probably their best chance, because they had 3 attempts. And again, watch Colin Boyle's role again.
And the very pleasing thing from Mayo's perspective was the ferocity in the goal zone, in their own goal zone today. Normally, you see Mayo are coming back towards their own goals. They're not playing with enough ferocity in there, but today bodies were diving. You know, it was very, very difficult. Kerry had half chances, but they were only half chances because Mayo were flooding that square. And again, it exemplified that conviction that they had today. I think it clicked with them last week after the game. Look, we're a far better team than these boys.
Yeah,
what are we doing?
We talk before the game, and you talk at half-time about the tactical battle. Like, you know, tactics are fine, but games are won by players with heart and commitment and drive like Mayo had today. And they also had a huge level of fitness which has been built over the years, and they were going really well at the end.
I think this is a point I want to make, because last year Mayo built momentum through the back door. And again this year, from the first game down in Innis, they've been building momentum. And the thing about playing lots of tough, hard, competitive matches that went to extra time on 3 occasions, you're battle-hardened. You're mentally sharp, you're physically sharp. Whereas Kerry came in last Sunday on the back of 2 third gear strolls against Cork and Galway. They were off the pace.
Let's just, sorry Pat, to cut across you. We're going to hear from Stephen Rochford, the Mayo manager.
Stephen Rochford, certainly there was nothing off the pace about Mayo today. Are you getting close to your best at just the right time?
Not sure about that. We knew we were going to have to play very well today. A couple of things that we didn't do as well as we'd like, but we did enough to win a game, and you know, we look forward to an All-Ireland now in 3 weeks.
What didn't you like?
I thought we could have closed out the game a bit better. You know, we went 7 or 8 points up there, conceded maybe a goal chance or 2, and we were in control of the ball. So look, we need to be tighter and slicker and smarter on the ball at sometimes.
From a personal point of view, did you find it difficult the last week?
No. Look, I mean, you know, we're a tight bunch, regardless of what people may think or say. We knew that with 6-day turnaround we had to be really focused on what it was. We had to learn from our errors, but what we did well last week, and we knew we had to show up and be different maybe than semi-final results over a couple of years ago.
The big talking point last week was Aidan O'Shea in fullback. Were there slight adjustments made to the way he was used today?
Yeah, maybe. You know, I suppose when you have 2 weeks to try something going into the first game, you know, we were sort of maybe a little bit conservative, because again it was something that we were testing, but again we could see that there was opportunities to move that on a little bit. But Aidan's a smart footballer and he's able to read those situations, and I thought he did really, really well today.
How can you make it different this time, this All-Ireland final for Mayo?
Look, I mean, I'm going to take the next 12 hours off and sort of chill out a little bit and watch tomorrow's game and start to prep from tomorrow evening.
But how do you make it different when it comes to the match? Have you already started to think that?
No, we didn't think anything further than today's game. You know, obviously we will have to be different. But I think the Dublin opposition and the Tyrone opposition will bring different conundrums to us. But I'm sure we'll face up to them, and we'll see what delivers in a couple of weeks.
Thanks, Stephen. Well done.
Well, as Stephen said there, I think they're going to wait 24 hours to see who they're facing in this year's All-Ireland final. Colin O'Rourke, who are they going to be facing, Dublin or Tyrone?
Well, I think it's Dublin. I think they're the best equipped team, and I think that what Dublin did during the league was that they didn't worry too much about it because they couldn't afford to be running winter and summer for the last 5 years, and I think they took their foot off the pedal in the league and they have got progressively better. Now, this is a ferocious Tyrone team. Their organisation in defence will be something different than we've ever seen before, but the Dubs for me. All right, lads, thanks for that. That's our lot then for this evening here at Croke Park. Now, we're going to give...
And they seem to be growing.
Yeah, when you go through the back door, that's the risk you take. You get a lot of matches, but I think they're starting to get momentum now. And it was only 3 weeks ago, us three sat here and we're talking to the top three of Tyrone, Kerry and Dublin. But, you know, we were only going by form at that time. And 3 games, they were very lucky to get over the line. And you would have to question Mayo at that time. You know, how did they let Cork, Derry and Roscommon get so close to them? Whenever they can do that yesterday, how did them teams come so close?
They were very good, Kieran, weren't they?
They were, Des. We said it last week. They were getting better every week, and they're growing in confidence. And they blitzed Kerry yesterday. And you say, usually in replays, the better manager comes out on top, and yesterday Rochford came out on top. One of the things they changed radically, I think, was on their own kick out. Last week, you know, David Clark came under a bit of pressure in the first half and they won 64% of their kick out, but yesterday they won 21 out of 22, which was a phenomenal return. But there was a distinct, obviously, change in tactic, in approach. Last week they were very, very, very wide when they were kicking the ball out. I think we have a piece of analysis coming up now. But they changed. You can see here, this is the drawn game, and the width that Mayo had last week. The players right across the line of the field. Kerry were trying to press them one-on-one. You can see Clark floats one in the air. It's a difficult ball to win, and the ball breaks down here, and it's a simple win for Johnny Buckley. Here you see there's no worse position to be under a ball from midfield. Kevin McLaughlin is under this. It's floating in the air. Kerry are ready to swarm him straight away. They come in. Kerry win a simple break, and they were on top. This is yesterday, Des. Radical change. It's like an Australian rules kind of tactic. Mayo pulled 8, 9, 10 players into a circle. They leave a lot of space outside, and they've done this all through the game. Aidan O'Shea won a good few kickouts like this, just breaking off the centre. You can see the Kerry fellas are trying to stop them from breaking out into those positions. But what the difference is, it allows the midfielders to run and catch the ball at speed, taking out the opposition midfielder, and puts them on the platform. Again, second half, you can see them tied in. There's plenty of space out. Here's the difference. Clark is waiting. He's waiting. Kerry have closed down the angles. The two hands go up, and he says, right, I'm going long. I'm going to go straight down the middle. He picks out Seamus O'Shea with a great kick out. So it was a huge change, a huge shift in tactic. It gave them a platform. It put them on the front foot where they struggled last week in the first half. So you've got to give Rochford and his management team huge credit for coming up with something very, very different in a 6-day period, which made a huge difference.
Let's briefly on that. The stick he took last Monday was savage, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was totally wrong. Like, you know, he's had a tough season. We went through it in 2009 where you go through the back door days and it's very, very difficult. We should have been knocked out by Sligo down in Tralee. We weren't. And you're not that far off. I think Mayo have proved you can't judge Mayo on the performance. They've learned, they've got better as the years gone on, and they've peaked. And Rochford has got, I mean, I think the Aidan O'Shea thing, he went with it again. He showed great courage with it. I still don't think Aidan O'Shea is a full back, but he showed the courage of his conviction. And, you know, tactically, they've got it better and better as they've gone on. You know, and Donny Buckley's above there from Kerry, and he's involved in it. You know, they think out. They're thinking a lot more than they did. I think they got the tactics. Their goalie, they've improved immensely on that. Their backs improved immensely. Midfield, for everything. Yeah. You know?
But sorry, just to contrast that, because it went so wrong for Kerry. Now, maybe as a Kerryman, it's unfair to ask you, but there were a few elements. The sweeper system.
Yeah, look, the sweeper system, I don't think we haven't done it properly. We haven't tried it in league. I think it worked badly for us, you know. I don't think it's in us. We tried Aidan O'Mahony there. The one thing with a sweeper system that I think is vital is if a sweeper system is to work, Des, you need to put pressure out the field. there was Chris Barrett, Colin Boyle, Keith Higgins, Lee Keegan. They were constantly coming through, and no matter what sweeper was behind, they were finding their men. Here we are out around the middle of the field again, playing around with it. We have our sweeper back. Paul Murphy was brought back, a player who was playing brilliantly going forward all year. But we've circled here the players who there's no pressure under, you know, and Mayo were clever enough. At times they kicked it in long, at times they didn't, at times they ran. Look, I don't think, when you see Tyrone in their pomp at the moment, they're putting heat and good heat, tough heat on players out there. Kerry weren't. And how many times did I not see Paul Murphy attacking and getting a hand on somebody? I thought it was the wrong decision to make, and I think it was a brave decision because Kerry were so wide open last week. I don't think they had to do that. I think they played Donegal in 2014 where they didn't play a sweeper. I think they played Dublin in the National League where they didn't play a sweeper. I don't think it was necessary. I think it was totally something that went against us, and what it did is it actually hurt us in our attacking game. Andy Moran was on fire. He was still winning ball out ahead of the sweeper system, and look, I think we didn't have to play it. I think we could have been more defensive, and with that sweeper system, we lost James O'Donoghue.
I think I think what happened is, like last week, Kerry left acres of space, as we saw, and Mayo exposed them badly, and there was a lot of call that they had to close down that space. But you've got a full back line that's bereft of confidence, and I think Mayo realised last week that they were better than Kerry, and they went after Kerry. And like Kerry's traditional game is to probably play man on man, and they got caught in two minds. They didn't really know what to do.
I think when we were playing, Des, you had Mike McCarthy, Tom Sullivan, Mark O'Shea, three of the best man markers, and we took them for granted. These players are specialised players. We don't have them at the moment, you know. And pound for pound, Mayo were better than us, better footballers than us yesterday. They were way better than us.
I don't know if Fitzmaurice done much wrong, because if you look at the last week's game, they had to play a sweeper. And if you're going to pick one person in the Kerry team to do it, it was Paul Murphy. It's just the pressure wasn't going on.
I think that was the biggest thing. I think if you had heat around the middle of the field, they were running through us. I think Fitzmaurice was right the last day. He pushed everybody forward, and the space was the back. He trusted his full back line too much, maybe. But this week, by bringing fellas back, you invited that half back line. Right. That's our biggest strength, Mayo's biggest strength.
One of the areas he was getting criticised, though, was for dropping James O'Donoghue. Tomas, did that affect the full forward line?
Look, in hindsight is great. I think it was a wrong decision, yeah. I think when we got sucked back, Des, our shape was gone. I think the best we've seen Kerry all year long was in the Munster final in terms of Donaghy, Gainey, and Gainey was outstanding again yesterday, by the way. But here we see Johnny Buckley. There was no options inside. Mayo were working very, very hard. Keith Higgins was sweeping up all day inside. Here we have David Moran, and we have Killian Young coming off his shoulder. Now we have Donaghy and Gainey inside, right? Now the ball doesn't go in early to Donaghy. It wasn't going in early in front of him. And we lump it in on top of Gainey. I think there was a lot of space inside there. I think if Donoghue was inside there, we would have threatened a lot more. You know, I think it was easy for Mayo. Now we were defending in such numbers that I think the ideal situation when you don't have guys inside. Here we have Donaghy looking for it, but Keith Higgins to his left has him covered. Now, the ideal situation, we have Gainey inside the full forward line. The ideal situation was pump it in there. There was an acre in front of him. No, we go sideways. We come out here, Stephen O'Brien makes a run forward, and Killian Young puts a silly ball out towards the sideline. I think, like, when we didn't have the bodies inside, here we have Donaghy out. I think Donoghue, when he came in, proved the point. He kicked a couple of scores and he gave us that threat. I think it was a risk Fitzmaurice took. It didn't pay off. But I think when we didn't have Donoghue inside there, we should have ran the ball more. When we were defending in numbers, we actually didn't turn around like all the good counter-attacking teams do. We didn't get up the field at all.
Do they have the players to be good enough and do all that?
There's a thing thrown out at Kerry at the moment that maybe Fitzmaurice has overachieved with this team, that maybe 2014 we overachieved. There was an All-Ireland we shouldn't have won. Kerry at a crossroads nowadays, won All-Ireland in 8 years. And if you go back to 97, they won it, and they hadn't won it since 86. They call it a famine. That was 11 years. Yeah. Now we have won in 8 at the moment, so they're at crossroads. Have they the players at the moment? I don't think they have players to win in All-Ireland at the moment, no.
Okay, well, you think that's a famine? Poor old Mayo waiting since, for 60 years, 65 years. Let's give the Mayo attack credit here, Kieran, because people say Mayo lack ability to close out games, etc.
Yeah, and I thought it was hugely important yesterday, Des, that they kept the 4 or 5 point lead that they had. Kerry got within 4, and I thought right throughout the second half, here was the start of the second half when Paul Murphy did push out, and I think this is where it exposed Kerry's weakness, because they left 2 and 2 inside, and straight away Mayo took advantage back of the net. But there's been 2 guys for me that have been brilliant over the last couple of weeks. Jason Doherty is one of them. Very, very good last week, and he kicked a crucial score and stood up to the plate when Killian O'Connor went off. Kevin McLaughlin is another one. He's having a great season. One ball from the kick out yesterday, and here he is, Andy Moran, quick hands, straight over the bar. These were big scores, Des, in the context of where Mayo were earlier on in the year. I was down when they played Galway, I saw them against Cork, and I was down on Castlebar against Derry. They made very poor decisions up front. Their shot options were poor, and when the real pressure came on the last 10 minutes, they weren't able to take the right options. That's a massive free from Jason Doherty when Cillian O'Connor has gone off.
Can I ask you about the fellas have been around a long time? I thought it was an extraordinary stat. 9 of the team that started in the 2012 final, 9 of them started yesterday. 2012 was a long time ago.
Yeah, it's a long time, Des, but the raw hunger, the raw hunger and desire that they still have, it's still burning in them that they want it. And let's be honest about it. They didn't look like that team earlier on. In the qualifiers, they were.
I think a lot of credit goes
to come good. They could do with the match next weekend.
I think a lot of credit has to go to Andy Moran, because up front, he's been there.
He's been written off for the last 2 years.
But it's a funny old game. Like if Mayo had lost last weekend, it would have been thrown that they had too many games. Like it's a fickle old game as well. Like Mayo have been getting a lot better. I think Jason Doherty is a huge bonus, and that argument that Aidan O'Shea, they have a decision to make. Aidan O'Shea didn't play in the forwards, and the forwards are playing better as a unit. They're more dangerous as a unit. It's more fluid. So Aidan O'Shea, he's not going to play full back. What do they do with him?
When those games against Derry and Roscommon, Aidan O'Shea was playing up front, and he did stand up and be counted up front.
Yeah, he dragged them through the qualifiers.
One of the guys you were in love with was Colin Boyle after that performance yesterday.
Yeah, well, Colin epitomises everything about Mayo. Year after year, they get defeats, but this man just keeps coming back, and he has so many roles to fill. He's a defender first and foremost, and here he stands up to Donegal Walsh, and he gets the ball off and he plays a simple fist pass. But it's his constant driving forward, and every time Mayo need a lift, he drives them forward. Here he just drives forward, and he plays the simple pass whenever he gets up front. But he also had a role to play as a sweeper yesterday, and he eyed danger every time he come through the middle third. Here you see him come back, and if ever a man was going to win yesterday, he put his body on the line at every opportunity. Here you see the double save, and this is at a stage where Kerry probably need the goal to get back in the game. But again, here he has the danger of the high ball into Kieran Donaghy, and like Paul Geaney, I think he has a goal chance, but he just comes on the line and he makes another save. But the last piece here, you can see he's constantly looking, he's not marking. That shows you the role he was playing a sweeper yesterday, and the Mayo defender gets a block, and he's there to regroup Kerry or Mayo and go forward. But the biggest compliment I could pay to Colin Boyle is, in our team, we had Ryan McManaman. Anytime we needed a lift, he was there to do it. And Colin Boyle's the exact same. And he always gets took off early, but yesterday he got 68 minutes, which...
In their general defence, their communication is excellent. Yeah. They've cover off men, they're very well drilled.
They're well drilled, very well drilled.
Okay,
Keith Higgins deserves special mention, because I thought he was outstanding.
They all do. A lot of people asking us, look at the role of the referee here, Dave, but mainly from Kerry, it has to be said. Kerry people complaining about the referee, David Goff, yesterday. Is that fair?
Look, I'm not going to be blaming the referee for losing. I think it's irrelevant, because we would have lost the game anyway. I thought this was a disgraceful decision. I think it's Cillian O'Connor should have got the black card here. I think it's Darren at the moment in play put up his hand because Cillian O'Connor came across him. Look, to be honest with you, there's a yellow card. I have no problem with that, but I think the next yellow card for Peter Crowley, I do have a problem with it. I don't think it was a yellow card. I think I think the player was slipping into him. He put his hand in, took it out straight away. It looked worse than it was. So I don't think that was a yellow card. I think I think he was there was about 17 cards given out. I don't think it was a nasty game all in all. There was a lot of niggly stuff going on, and fair enough. I don't think Durkin deserved to get sent off. Maybe there was a bang here, but certainly here, I don't think at all that he deserved. They were just pulling and dragging. If that's the case, there should have been another 15 yellows given out in the first 2 or 3 minutes. Kerry kind of brought an aggressiveness that's not usually theirs in the first few minutes. Donaghy as well.
And that made it tough for the ref, though.
It did make it tough for the ref, very tough.
I think one aspect, Des, we have to consider replays. Obviously, familiarity draws a bit of contempt. That I agree with Tomas. The second yellow for Durkin is tough.
Tomas,
but watch, I think there's the big thing about Donaghy. I'm not defending Donaghy. What he did was absolutely wrong. There's no defending that. But if you watch it from behind, Aidan O'Shea stood in his foot. Now, the reaction was ridiculous, right? Watch it. You watch it in slow motion. He stood in his foot couldn't move, and he was down on it, and that's why Donaghy reacted. No, there's no defence to what happened. But overall, I think Darren O'Sullivan has a huge grievance. I'd never seen Darren react like that. I think, look, a lot common sense. If there was common sense on the other side of the road, he'd cross the road.
To be fair to Goff, I think he's a good referee. But what happened before the ball was through, there was a lot of silly stuff going on. And he made the decision to give out early yellow cards. After 12 minutes, there was 3 yellow cards. So he had to sustain that throughout the whole 70 minutes.
Look, Kerry wouldn't have won anyway. Kerry wouldn't have won, but I thought he was over fussy.
Yeah.
And look, technically he probably wasn't wrong in a lot of situations, maybe 3 or 4, but too fussy for my liking.
I would agree. I would agree with Tomas on the second Crowley one and the Durkin one. Yeah, Donaghy, listen, he'll know that was stupid. You just can't do that, and he deserved the red. But I do think replays bring out a different edge in teams. Kerry, I think, lost their focus rather than their discipline yesterday by getting involved early doors. The referee does have to lay down a marker, and I think if you go back to David Goff, maybe last year he got criticised in the Dublin Kerry game for not giving out cards, and he kind of let the game flow, and it was a kind of a great spectacle. He comes under scrutiny for that as well. So listen, I think he had to lay down an early marker. Yes, when you set a trend early in the game, you probably have to follow it as well. So that had to justify a few of the later ones, but there was a few harsh ones.
All right, then. Well, let's hear what those involved in the game had to say afterwards.
The whistle goes, it's all over. Mayo have beaten Kerry for the first time in 21 years.
We knew we were going to have to play very well today. A couple of things that we did.
It's easy to be looking for excuses after the fact and trying to explain things away. I think the better, hungrier team won today, and you have to congratulate the lads for that.
I thought we could have closed out the game a bit better. You know, we went 7 or 8 points up there.
Kieran Donaghy trying to work it in. He's worked it into Stephen O'Brien. Having a go, a little block on it, has another go. Again, great goalkeeping. And finally, it's Paul Gailey denied once more.
It was brilliant. I suppose it gave us a bit of energy at the time. You know, a goal at that stage when we were on top would have been a sucker punch, but thankfully, you know, we kept the ball out of the net, and we ended up getting the scores up the other end of the pitch.
Now 35 metres out from goal. It could be dangerous, and it is dangerous. And it's Diarmuid O'Connor.
Kerry come down, get a score. We'd managed to go up and work on ourselves. So I suppose we were a bit more calmer on the ball. Got ourselves into the positions, and I suppose kept that lead of probably 5 or 6 points for most of the second half.
So do Andy Moore.
1 year afterwards, Marty Morrissey got some reaction.
Well, the dust has settled, but Mayo people, I'm sure, are going home absolutely delighted and very proud on their wonderful success. They're back in an All-Ireland final. I'm joined by Andy Moran, who scored 1-5 last Sunday, 1-1 today. What's the feeling in here?
That feels great, Marty. We bet Kerry in Croke Park for the first time in my career, so it's a great feeling. But it's an All-Ireland semi-final. We've been in plenty of All-Ireland finals now, but today is a good day.
Was there a moment in this game that you thought you had it won?
The last few minutes when Kieran got sent off, I think was the time I eventually said, okay, we haven't won. You just never know with Kerry. I think at one stage there, our guys did mammoth defending those 3 or 4 blocks on the line, and we got it going. So if they get a goal there at that stage, Marty, it's tight, and but our backs held out brilliantly. I think the likes of Keith and the guys around the middle of the field were just brilliant, you know.
In your career, you've never beaten Kerry in the championship. Now you're back in an All-Ireland final. There's one more on the bucket list to achieve, isn't there?
Yeah, of course there is. We all play football for the love of it, of course, and we play for I suppose the fans that were here today. You know, the best fans in the country by a mile, and they've been amazing to us. They've been amazing to me throughout my career, so it'd be lovely to give it to them. But we just have to go through the same kind of process that we've always went through, and hopefully come up with a plan that's good enough either to beat Dublin or Kerry or Dublin or Tyrone in a couple of weeks' time.
Well done, Andy Moore, and well done to Mayo. And as you can see, preparations already underway for tomorrow's semi-final between Dublin and Tyrone. But right now, it's well done to Mayo.
Certainly is, Marty. Well, not long now until the big fight between Conor McGregor and Floyd Mayweather